Systemic racism is a difficult truth in America. It's not just about individual bad actors, and it's not only about isolated incidents of hate. It's woven into the fabric of society. You know, it exists in our institutions and policies, and these systems were built over generations. They continue to operate, often silently, and this creates unfair disadvantages for African Americans. It shapes lives and limits potential every single day. Understanding this is the first crucial step. Racial discrimination is a direct outcome. It means treating people unfairly due to their race. This treatment can be open and obvious, or it can be subtle, hidden in normal processes. Imagine being denied a job you are qualified for simply because of the color of your skin, or being followed in a store for no reason at all. These are experiences African Americans often face. It's a constant burden, a daily reality. This discrimination is fueled by systemic issues. The history of America holds painful chapters. Slavery was a brutal system of oppression, and Jim Crow laws followed, enforcing segregation. These were not just past mistakes. They laid the groundwork for today's disparities. Wealth was built on stolen labor, and opportunities were denied for centuries. Laws explicitly targeted Black communities. The effects of this history did not simply vanish. They linger in the structures around us. So, this is not merely a discussion of the past. The echoes of these historical injustices are loud. They're present in our schools and workplaces. They're visible in our neighborhoods and courts. Systemic racism creates a ripple effect touching every aspect of life for African Americans. From birth, the playing field is not level. Recognizing this reality is essential for progress. It's about seeing the full picture. Only then can we start to dismantle it. Education should be a ladder to opportunity, but for many Black students, it is not equal. Schools in predominantly Black areas are often underfunded, and they lack resources like updated books or technology. Teacher quality and experience can also vary, and fewer advanced courses might be offered. This creates an achievement gap from an early age. These are not failures of the students. They are failures of an unequal system. The foundation for future success is weakened. Implicit bias plays a damaging role in schools. These are unconscious attitudes or stereotypes, and they can affect how teachers see Black students. A Black child might be seen as more disruptive, while a white child might be given more chances. This leads to harsher discipline for Black students. They face higher rates of suspension and expulsion, pushing them out of school, not towards success. It tells them they are not valued, and it tragically shapes their educational journey. These educational challenges directly impact employment. Without a strong educational background, doors close. Access to higher paying jobs becomes difficult, and the cycle of limited opportunity continues. African Americans often face higher unemployment rates, and even with similar qualifications, disparities persist. This is not due to a lack of effort. It's due to systemic barriers in the job market. The dream of a stable career becomes harder to reach, and economic security remains elusive for many. Discrimination also occurs in hiring and promotions. Studies show resumes with Black-sounding names get fewer calls. Once hired, African Americans may face a biased workplace. They might be overlooked for challenging assignments, and promotions to leadership roles can be scarce. A persistent wage gap also exists. Black workers often earn less than white counterparts for similar work. This limits wealth creation and financial stability. It's a constant uphill battle for fair treatment. These are the realities of systemic racism at work. Housing is a fundamental human need. Yet, African Americans face significant discrimination here. The legacy of redlining still casts a long shadow. This was a practice where banks refused loans in Black neighborhoods, locking Black families out of home ownership. Today, discrimination can be more subtle. It might be harder to rent an apartment or to get a fair mortgage loan. This limits choices, of where to live and often forces families into less desirable areas. Housing segregation has profound consequences. It leads to concentrated poverty in many Black communities. These neighborhoods often lack critical resources, good schools, quality health care, and even supermarkets. Access to fresh, healthy food can be limited, and pollution levels might be higher. This is sometimes called environmental racism. These conditions affect health and well-being, and they limit opportunities for upward mobility. It creates a cycle of disadvantage passed down generations. The criminal justice system shows stark disparities. African Americans are disproportionately arrested, and they often face harsher charges and sentences. This is true even when compared to white individuals. For similar offenses, the outcomes can be vastly different. The war on drugs heavily impacted Black communities, leading to mass incarceration of Black men. This has devastated families and communities. The system itself seems to treat Black lives differently. Justice is not always blind to color. Implicit bias is present in policing and courts. A police officer might unconsciously view a Black person as more threatening, and this can escalate routine encounters into dangerous ones. In court, bias can influence jury decisions, and it can affect a judge's sentencing. A criminal record has lifelong consequences. It makes finding a job or housing even harder, and it can take away the right to vote. This creates a permanent underclass. The justice system should ensure fairness, not perpetuate inequality. These issues in education, jobs, housing, and justice are linked. They create a complex web of disadvantage. A child in an underfunded school faces uphill battles, and this can limit their job prospects later in life. Discrimination in housing can restrict access to good schools, and an encounter with the justice system can derail everything. These are not isolated problems. They feed each other. This cumulative impact severely limits life chances, and it makes escaping cycles of poverty incredibly hard. The American dream feels out of reach for many. Understanding systemic racism is profoundly important. We must acknowledge these truths to create change. It's not about blaming individuals. It's about recognizing flawed systems that were often designed to exclude or that now operate to maintain inequality. Ignoring this reality will not make it disappear. Open eyes and honest conversations are needed. This is the first step towards building a fairer society, a society where race does not determine destiny. This understanding invites us to reflect. What role do we play, consciously or unconsciously? How can we challenge our own biases? We can educate ourselves and those around us. Listen to the experiences of African Americans and support organizations working for racial justice. We can advocate for policies that promote equity in our schools, workplaces, and communities. Every small action can contribute to a larger shift. Change begins with individual commitment. The journey towards true equality is long. It requires courage, persistence, and collective effort. We must dismantle these unfair systems and build new structures based on justice, a future where every child has an equal chance, where opportunities are open to all, regardless of race. This is not just a dream, it is a necessity. Our shared humanity demands it. Let us work together to make this vision a reality. The time for meaningful action is now.